Hello everyone, hope you're all doing well, having a great time, staying at home, and of course staying safe. This is class 9 science lesson. We are still in radioactivity, but this is part 2. So let's start. In this part, we will try to talk about the penetrating power of radiation. Now, the three forms of nuclear radiation have different abilities to penetrate matter, and that's my question. Why they have different abilities? Well, their differences is due to the difference in their mass and their charge. And when we will talk in detail about each one of those radiation and their mass and charge, you will understand what we are talking about. For example, let's talk about alpha particles. Alpha particles have a greater charge and mass than beta particles and gamma rays. So alpha particles travel about 7 centimeter in the air and could be stopped by a paper or cloth, while beta particles have a negative or positive charge and almost no mass. Now imagine one of them has a great mass, the other one doesn't have any mass, almost no mass. They are more penetrating than alpha particle. Beta particle travel about 1 meter through the air, but are stopped by 3 millimeter aluminum sheet. So it has positive 1 or negative 1 charge and almost no mass. What about the gamma rays? Gamma ray, you know that they are pure energy, so have no charge or mass and are most penetrating. But these rays could also be blocked by very dense and thick materials such as a few centimeters of lead or a few meters of concrete. Okay, let's start this part with a question. What is the effect of radiation on matter? What could possibly happen to matter whenever they are bombarded with radiation? So, two things happen. The first one, atoms that are hit by nuclear radiation can give up electrons. So, they give up electron. This is the first one. The second one, the chemical bonds between atoms can break when hit by nuclear radiation. So these two factors can actually could damage living and non-living thing. So remember, the first one, it could actually break their bond, the bond between the atom. The second one, nuclear radiation could make these matters give up electrons. Let us start with a living thing. What happens to a living thing when they are hit by radiation? What could happen to them? What is the symptoms of a person who is hit by a radiation? So, whenever an organism absorbs radiation, its cells can be damaged. Not only their cells, but actually their DNA also could be damaged. So, if a DNA was damaged by radiation, what could possibly happen? A lot of things could happen. For example, it actually could cause cancer. So, exposure to radiation can increase the risk of cancer because of the damage done to the cell. Now we have another thing. Whenever a person is exposed to radiation, there is an illness, radiation sickness. What are the symptoms of this sickness? It actually include fatigue, loss of appetite, hair loss, destruction of blood cells, and eventually it could actually lead to death of that person. Now there's very interesting documentary about Chernobyl. You can look at it. It is very interesting one. Or you can watch Fukushima Uncensored. It's a documentary about Fukushima power plant. You should watch those documentaries to understand more about radioactivity and their danger. And let's move on to the picture. Film badge dosimeter. This badge is worn by the people who are working near the nuclear plants or near radioactive materials. It tells them the dosage of radioactive radiation that person received every day. Now, radiation could also affect non-living matters. How? Whenever a metal atom loses electrons, the metal is weakened. So, radiation can cause metal structure or building, such as nuclear power plants, to become unsafe. High levels of radiation from the sun can damage spacecraft. Now, the picture in front of you is actually what happens. That's a radiation of sun, and the second one is actually I took it from a NASA website, and you can see what a radiation could do to a non-living thing. It can make them. You already know that radiation make them lose electrons, and whenever a material loses electron, it weakens them. So whenever a non-living structure is weakened, so it is not safe, especially in the nuclear power plants. Nuclear power plants, since they are continuously exposed to radiation, after years and years, this could make the building weak and unsafe. Look at the three rays in front of you. Which one actually penetrate the deep organ? Gamma rays, right? So gamma rays go through matter easily, and they can damage deep within the matter. Beta particles, look at the beta particles, is actually only reach the skin, and beta particles cause damage to the closer to the surface, as you can see. What about alpha particles? Alpha particles cause damage near the surface of the skin, as you see in the picture. We can use decay to find the age of all the remains. For example, the picture in front of you is the picture of the Iceman. The Icemen were found in Italian Alps and in 1991. By the way, this is the most well-preserved remain of human from 1991 until now. Now, what is important in all that the scientists were able to estimate the time of the death about 5,300 years ago. It is a long, long time. Finding the age of something or someone can be very, very tough, especially if it was very, very old. You already know that our body is made of carbon. Everything alive on the surface of Earth is made of carbon. هموش تانی که لچوار دولتن زیندون لکربون پگین. And a small percentage of these carbon atom is radioactive carbon-14. وبشي كم لو كربون اتمانی که للشی اما کاربونی radioactivity 14. باشا. Now you will have to know that as long as this person or this organism lives, the percentage of carbon-14 in the organism stay the same. What if the decay happen? Well, if any decay happens, it will be replaced by another carbon-14. So imagine if we were talking about a plant, the plants take carbon from atmosphere. What about animals? Where animals also take carbon from their food. We are saying if the organism is alive and continuously replacing the carbon in its body. Now let's talk about if the organism died. A plant, the animal died. what will happen? What happens where the carbon-14 is no longer replaced, and over time the carbon-14 in the body of the organism, let's say plant or animal, drops because of the radioactive decay. Carbon-14 will go through the decay process. So remember, حتى أو organism زندوبة أو كربوني كلش يا decay replace أكا إيجورا بكربوني كتير كربون من الأخوار نوع إخوة بلام أو دقيقة organism كأمره كتير obviously خوار ناخوا so كربوني ناولش شي replace نابه replace نبو أو كاتشي رؤى كتير كرداري جاقرتنوي كربوني چوارده يتر أوسته يعني بردام نابه وبتبربوني كات أسي كربوني چوارده نزمه بيتو تگیشتن so أو دقيقة أمره the carbon-14 is not replaced anymore, so the level of carbon-14 will drop because of radioactive decay. In this part, we will try to answer those questions. The first part is, what is a half-life? I'm pretty sure you remember half-life, since in the last year we talked about this, but we will repeat it again. So the first question, what is a half-life? A half-life is a time needed for half of the sample of a radioactive substance to undergo a radioactive decay. What does it mean? Well, basically what it means that every radioactive material goes through the process of radioactive decay. The time that is needed for that sample to decay the half of the material, the original sample, is called the half-life. As you can see, the first picture, we have the sample, the radioactive material. After the half-life, 50% of the sample, the original sample or the original isotope, has decayed. What happens after 2 half-lives? 1/4 of the original sample remain unchanged, or in another word, you can say 75% of the original isotope has decayed. So لسا حفتاو بنجي سامبلكت decay كردوا تگیشتی. So half-life چیه؟ او ماویه که پیوسته بو isotopic يعني بو radioactive materialك بو اوي نيوي original sample decay بکا باشا. اي دو half-life چیه؟ لماوي دو half-life يعني دو نيوي تمنه لسا حفتاو بنجي سامبلكت original sample علين يعني decay بوا. Let me repeat it. What is a half-life? The half-life is a time needed for the half of the sample of the radioactive substance to undergo radioactive decay. The second question, what is the half-life of a carbon? A carbon, the scientists found that every 5,730 years, half of the carbon-14 in a sample decays. So the rate of the carbon is constant, doesn't change. This actually makes me ask the third question, which is, can the rate of decay be affected by the pressure or temperature? So the answer is basically no. Neither pressure nor temperature could affect the rate of decay of radioactive material. Now look at the table. It is a few isotopes and their half-life, or the amount of time it takes 1/2 of a nuclei of a radioactive isotope to decay. The table in front of you, the first example is carbon-14. It takes, as you know, 5,730 years to decay, or to be exact, half of that sample to decay. What about polonium? The half-life of a polonium is 138 days, What about oxygen? Oxygen 21 is basically 3.4 second. Calcium 36 is 0.1 second. Uranium 238 is 4.5 billion years. Nitrogen 13 is 10 minutes. Now we will try to answer the question, how did they know the age of the Iceman? Well, the scientists measured the number of the decay in the Iceman's body each minute. They found that a little less than the half-life of the carbon-14 in the body was actually changed. Or you can say the time that has passed since the Iceman died is less than 5,730 years. Not quite one half-life of carbon-14. And also, carbon-14 can be used to find the age of object up to 50,000 years old. What can we do if the object that we want to estimate its age is more than 50,000 years? Or I can ask you in another way, which element is used to find the age of older things? We have different kind of element. For example, potassium-40 has a half-life of 1.3 billion years. It is used to find the age of the dinosaur fossils. So, to find the age of dinosaurs, the fossil of the dinosaur, the scientists use potassium-40. کاتەزانەکان توانیان تەمەنی ئایزمان دیاری بکەن بەچی؟ بە سێرکردنی ڕێژەی شیبوونەوەی کاربۆنی 14 لەناو لەشی ئایسمانە. So وچیشان بۆ دەرکەوت بۆیان دەرکەوت کە بەشێکی زۆر کەم لە نیوەی کاربۆنی 14 لە لەشیا گۆڕاوە. ئەتوانین بڵێن تەمەنی پیاوەبەستۆکە نەگەشتۆتە نیوەی تەمەنی کاربۆنی 14 کە 5730 ساڵەکە. بۆیە وتیان چی؟ وتیان ئایسمان تەمەنی 5300 ساڵە. What is the use of the radioactivity? What do humans use radioactivity for? So you already know that radioactive isotopes can be used to determine the age of different objects or fossils, as I told you in a previous slide. Now you will have to know that we have smoke detectors that actually contain a very little amount of radioactive material, as you can see in front of you. Also, we have tracers. What is a tracer? A tracer are radioactive element whose path can be followed through the process or reaction. So that is a tracer. A tracer is a radioactive element that leaves path in a chemical that can be followed through the chemical by chemical reaction. So اتوانین هنک isotope بکار بین radioactive isotope بکار بینین as a tracer وکو tracer. ام تخمتیشک درانا actually اتوانین دوای ڕێڕەوەکەیان بکەوین لە ڕێگەی کردارەوە بێیان لە ڕێگەی کارلێکەوە بێ ئەتوانی تریسیان کەی بۆیە پێیانەوتوێت tracers. Also, we can use these tracers to diagnose medical problems. Patients are injected with a short half-life tracers. Then detect is used to follow the trace as it moves through the patient's body. And you can see, as you can see in the picture in front of you. So, doctors may use radioactive chemical called tracer for medical imaging. Radioactive material can be even used to treat illnesses. Now, these materials can even help prevent illnesses. For example, many food and healthcare products are sterilized by using radiation. Now, imagine radiation actually used to sterilize things. کاتە دکتۆرەکان تریسەرەکان بەکارێنن بۆ ئەوەی بتوانن نەخۆشیەکانی پێ دەستنیشانکەن. هەروە مادە تیشکدەرەکان بۆ چارەسەرکردنی هەندێک نەخۆشی بەکارێنن بێجگە لە دەستنیشانکردنی نەخۆشی، چارەسەرکردنی نەخۆشی وەکو کانسەر، و هەروەها هەندێک مادەی خۆراکی بەروبوومی تەندروستی بە تیشکەکان پاکە ئەکرێنەوە، یعنی بە رادیێشن بەکارێنرێ بۆ ئەوەی پاکیان کاتەوە. Radioactivity in industry. First thing we can say is radioactive isotopes can be used to help detect defect in structures. For example, radiation can be used to test the thickness of metals. As you can see in front of you, اللي خليكي دروسكرني بورين. بزن أو بوريا أستوري thicknessي لها مش وينكا وكو يكتريا radiation بكارينا. Radioactive isotopes are used to test structure. Also, space props are powered by radioactive materials. The energy given off as a nuclear decay is converted to electricity or into electrical energy for the prop. Also, I wanted to say that tracers are used to find weak spots in material and leaks in pipes. The second picture is a Geiger counter, which is used to know the level of radiation in a certain place. Of course, we have reached the end of this lesson. Thank you for your attention, and your homework will be the section review, page 265. As usual, you can send your answers and I will check them and give you the correct one anyway. And good luck and stay safe.